You are watching South Asia Newsline and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 2nd of November. BJP lampoons opposition alliance as Nitish Kumar blasts Congress. Pakistan starts rounding up undocumented migrants as deadline ends. And Bhutan appoints interim government ahead of national election. And now for all the details. After Bihar's Chief Minister Nitish Kumar vented frustration with Congress for ignoring the I.N.D.I alliance goals and instead focusing on upcoming assembly polls, leaders of the ruling BJP took a dig at the opposition unity and urged Congress leader Rahul Gandhi to launch an I.N.D.I Jodo Yatra.
इंडियन नेशनल डेवलपमेंटल इंक्लूसिव अलायंस का गठन किया गया, इसका नामकरण किया गया है। अब ये तो हो ही गया, तेजी से हो, लेकिन अभी तो काम ज्यादा नहीं हो रहा। अभी 5 जगह विधानसभा का चुनाव है, तो कांग्रेस पार्टी तो उसी में ज्यादा इंटरेस्टेड है। तो अभी तो इसको हम लोग कांग्रेस पार्टी को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हम लोग सब एकजुट होकर काम कर रहे थे, लेकिन अभी उनको कोई इस सब चीज की चिंता है नहीं।
BJP's Shehzad Poonawalla pointed at the inherent contradictions within the bloc that have come to the fore, much to the embarrassment of the opposition. He said the alliance has no mission or vision like Prime Minister Narendra Modi has, and they just have corruption and division against each other.
This is a tukde alliance, and yet another evidence or proof of that has emerged. I think Rahul ji would be better off not doing any more Bharat Jodo Yatras because Sardar Patel has already united India. He should start I.N.D.I Jodo Yatra.
5 states including Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Telangana, Chhattisgarh and Mizoram will go to polls from 7th to 30th of November, while the counting of votes will take place on December 3rd. A blanket of toxic haze covered New Delhi on Thursday as air quality in India's national capital region remained in very poor category for a 5th consecutive day. According to government agencies SAFAR, the AQI breached 300 mark in several areas of the city, indicating severe level of pollution that can affect healthy people and those with existing ailments. The Delhi government has announced a ban on the entry of diesel buses in the Union Territory and said construction activities will be halted if the situation persists.
बहुत ज़्यादा स्मॉग है सर। आज मैं डेली सुबह रनिंग करता हूँ यहाँ से, बट आज मैं पहले के प्रति देखूँ तो आज बहुत ज़्यादा स्मॉग है यहाँ पर, और जो रनिंग करने में प्रॉब्लम तो हो ही रही है। जैसे लग रहा है कि धूल एकदम मुंह के अंदर जा रही है और ठीक नहीं है सेहत के लिए, लोगों की सेहत के लिए अच्छा नहीं है ये।
Meanwhile, the air quality in Mumbai also hovered around alarming levels, casting a shadow over the ongoing Cricket World Cup. India's cricket board BCCI had earlier announced a ban on firework displays during the remaining matches of the tournament as a measure to combat pollution.
मतलब पहले से तो ज़्यादा ही है, क्योंकि अभी आज जब सुबह हम यहाँ पे आए ट्रेन से तो फॉग बहुत ज़्यादा था, मतलब अच्छे से दिख नहीं रहा था, पर बाकी वैसे कुछ दिक्कतें नहीं आई। पर इनिशिएटिव तो अच्छा है बीसीसीआई का, फायर क्रैकर्स वगैरह अवॉइड करने चाहिए मोस्टली मैचेस वगैरह के बाद, तो सही डिसीजन है।
And as the deadline for undocumented foreign nationals to leave Pakistan voluntarily has concluded, authorities have begun rounding off Afghan refugees in the country. A report.
Authorities in Pakistan have begun rounding off undocumented foreigners, most of them Afghans refugees, as midnight deadline for them to leave got over on Thursday. Some of those ordered to leave have spent decades in Pakistan with no connection in their native country. We would be strangers in Afghanistan, Rizwan Khan, a third generation from an Afghan immigrant family, said. Rizwan and several others like him belong to family of Afghan immigrants who have fled Afghanistan during its decades of internal conflict since the late 1970s. UNHRC has warned Pakistan's planned expulsion of more than 1 million undocumented foreign nationals risks triggering a human rights catastrophe.
حکومت نه شکردار یم هغه پوسه موږ سره ډیر ښه سلوک کړی د موږ سره ډیر ښه هغه وخت تېر کړی موږ هم ډیر ښه وخت تېر کړی د پوسه د ما مثال ما 15 کاله عمر د پوسه 15 کاله عمر کې موږ دلته 15 موږ اوله د روس وخت کې موږ دلته پاکستان ته راغلي راسوي मंग अफगानिस्तान ततली नहीं अफगानिस्तान तारसी मंग वाड़ा मिसाल मंग पैदाइश दलता था से वाड़ा मंग दलता रागली मंग सर दा सुलूक को दा बादी तो गुरो दिया का तो गुरो दा कोण द सियालाते प मंग जोड़ को
As you know that Afghanistan is going through a severe humanitarian challenges, including human rights challenges for women and girls. And the government of Pakistan is implementing this plan, and we believe that such plans will have serious implications for all those who have been displaced and who may face serious protection risk upon their return.
Islamabad has taken a hardline stance against Afghan refugees, claiming that they have been behind military attacks, smuggling and other crimes in the South Asian nation. According to Pakistan's Interior Ministry, 140,322 people have already left voluntarily.
Moving on, 1 year has passed since the devastating floods hit parts of Gilgit Baltistan, but the flood victims are still awaiting rehabilitation and assistance from the Pakistani government. They lament with the onset of winters, their hardship is bound to increase. A report.
Misery of people of Gilgit Baltistan does not seem to end, as residents have complained the roads and bridges, which had washed out during the devastating floods in July last year, have still not been repaired, while they have not received any aid from the Pakistan government. Locals said scores of flood victims are still living in tents, and with the onset of winter season, their hardship is bound to increase. They wonder where did the funds Islamabad received for floods have gone, highlighting corruption and ignorance in the system.
बाहर से इतना बड़ा वो फंड आया इमदाद के मत में, लेकिन सलाम तस्लीम तक कुछ भी नहीं पहुंचा। समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि इतना फंड कहाँ पे गया, किस पे कहाँ पे खर्च हुआ।
सर्दी का अभी आगे सर्दी आ रही है, टेंटू में रहते हैं। इसी तरह जो दूसरी सैलाब जो छोटी मोटी सैलाबें आई इधर शेर किला में, और भी घराने जो है डिजास्टर उसमें के जिद में आए, वो भी इस वक्त मुतासिर है। बस एनजीओस ने जो दिया तो वो दिया, बाकी हुकूमत पाकिस्तान की तरफ से न होने के बराबर।
Residents of the occupied region have long complained of discrimination by Islamabad, accusing the Pakistan government of repeatedly turning a blind eye to their problems. They accuse Pakistan does not grant them any political rights and representation, but continues to exploit the region and its resources.
Bhutan's king on Wednesday appointed a 9-member interim government to oversee the Himalayan nation's parliamentary election to be held within 3 months. The free vote will be the fourth to be held since democracy was established in Bhutan in 2008, a country of fewer than 800,000 people nestled between China and India. Bhutan dissolved its 47-member National Assembly this week at the end of its 5-year term. The interim government will be headed by the Chief Justice of the country and will enable the Election Commission to hold free and fair elections. Moving on, Sri Lanka's key inflation rate rose to 1.5% in October from 1.3% a month ago, the Statistics Department has informed. The food prices fell 5.2%, while prices of non-food items climbed slightly to 4.9% after rising 4.7% in September. The crisis hit Sri Lankan economy stabilized to some degree after the government finalized a $2.9 billion IMF bailout in March. But targets under the program have added to inflation woes. The cabinet has approved increasing value-added tax from 15 to 18% from January to shore up public revenue, which has fallen short of targets set by the IMF. The move could push inflation further. A die-hard fan in India's Tamil Nadu has dedicated a temple to Indian megastar Rajinikanth. Being an ardent fan of the superstar from his childhood, Karthik, a retired paramilitary force staff, has erected a statue of Rajinikanth weighing over 250 kg in the temple. He says Rajni always seemed like God to him. The temple boasts a collection of Rajinikanth's posters and banners along with pictures of his parents and Hindu god Lord Ganesha.
Superstar Rajini மேல எனக்கு ஒரு தனி ஈர்ப்பு உண்டு. என்னுடைய அப்பாவுக்கும் பிடிக்கும், என்னுடைய அம்மாவுக்கும் பிடிக்கும். அப்புறம் நானும் அவர் படங்களை தான் சின்ன வயதிலேருந்தே பார்த்துட்டு இருந்தேன். பார்த்தீங்கன்னா வேறு எந்த தமிழ் படமும் பார்க்குறதில்ல. அதுக்கப்புறம் நான் ஜாப் கிடச்சி பேராமிலிட்ரி கோர்ஸில் ஒர்க் பண்ணேன். அப்போயுமே தலைவர் படம் ரிலீஸ் ஆச்சுன்னா முதல் ஷோ வந்து பார்த்துருவேன். ரெகுலராக பார்த்துட்டே இருப்பேன். எனக்கு எப்படின்னா தலைவர் வந்து ஒரு கடவுளாகவே தெரிஞ்சார். தலைவருக்கு கோடிக்கணக்கான ரசிகர்கள் இருக்காங்க. ஆனால் அந்த ரசிகர்கள் நம்ம தனித்துவமாக தெரியணும், தலைவருக்கு ஏதாவது ஒன்று பண்ணணும்னு நினச்சேன்.
Rajinikanth, also known as Shivaji Rao Gaikwad, is a former bus conductor who is arguably one of India's biggest movie stars. In southern India, devoted fans worship film and TV stars like gods, erecting huge statues of actors which are bathed in milk as part of prayer rituals for a movie's success. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.